Hello everyone, welcome to Triple T Thursday. I'm your host, Shelly Saves the Day. Today we're going to be talking about saying yes, even to the things, especially to the things that scare you. So if you're excited for that, I'm excited to chat about it with you all. I don't know what that beep was for. It was for something. I appreciate it. Oh, okay. It says Marcus has been, wow, 11 months you've been a member. That is awesome. I love that for you. That's so cool. That's crazy. I think Pixelpia has you beat, but I appreciate that. I love that. Okay, so the ever important question of today: what's in your cup today, y'all? I'm so excited that she's back in my life. Not only the Ember, but oh, I don't know if you see it steaming, but the Pike Place Market, the Spice Market blend, the orange clovey perfect wintertime tea. It is back in my life. So I would love to know, Pixelpia, you're drinking coffee. If Adam's out there, Poland Springs water. Marcus, I'm not sure yet. Your huge. We'll find out what that is. Oh my God. Some other teas try and like make that same cinnamon. It's just not the same. It is not the same. I'm so glad that you're here. And I want to chat with you all. Okay, there's that sound again. It's probably Pixelpia celebrating her. She's like, oh, you think, yep, there it is, 32 months, just a bit more. I love that. Almost triple the amount of time. Gosh. Well, Pixelpia, thank you. I appreciate you as well. You know that. And y'all, I want to talk to you. I had just posted this on Twitter. By the way, this light over here, it doesn't have a little cover on it right now. So if it is like blinding me and it's beaming off of me, just so you know, it will have a light cover tomorrow. I had a light cover for it. This is a story you didn't ask. I had a light cover for it. We decided to try and save some space, and I am really excited about this. I'm going to show y'all a picture of it when it's all done and finished. But now, instead of having the lights on, you know, the little tripods as usual and whatnot, the stands, I'm mounting them from the ceiling. So I have one, or I should say my husband did it for me. We have one mounted, and it has like the small little aperture dome mini on it. And then I have the Light Dome SE, but it's like a really big one. It's the big boy, like 35 inches. And this room is pretty tiny. So my husband was like, why don't you get another of the small ones? And I'm like, are you crazy? That's even more expensive than the one I have. I already have this one. And he's like, yeah, but it's just too large for this corner of the room. So I took the little umbrella dome thing off, and I put it in the trash before I could even think about it. I was going to sell it, but then I was like, nope, it's not even worth it, because it would cost that much to ship it. And so I was like, okay, so right now this light is naked. It's beaming right at me, because the light cover thing will be here, but not until tomorrow. So today I just have to deal with this. But I'm so excited because both of the lights are going to be hanging from the ceiling, which means I can reclaim some of that floor space, and just really it just means I can stack more crap over there, because I'm just like I said, America ninjaing all over the place just so I can walk around in this office. So I'm super excited for that to happen. Would you like a filming tour setup? Is that a video you would be interested in? I thought about making it, and then I thought, oh, I don't know if people care. And then I was like, well, I'm nosy, and I always want to see what people's filming setups look like. And now that I am in a smaller space, I am having to make some adjustments. And I didn't know if that would be a video that would be interesting to y'all. So if you want to see my filming setup type tour, comment it or let me know, or tell me all the things. And I think that's going to be a video that I'm going to be making, so I'm kind of excited for that. Even if you are not, I'll just say that I just asked you, do you want to see it? And then I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm going to make it anyway, but I hope you want to see it. So there's that. So I want to talk a little bit today about saying yes to things even that scare you. And the reason that this came up, oh my gosh, I'm seeing like this white blinding spot. Honestly, I was like, maybe I should try and bounce the light off the ceiling, but it's too late now. It's too late. Though we really did try to make it. Anyways, so I'm just going to be blinded over here. But man, I'm literally seeing white spots. That's not good for you. That's obviously very, very not good for you. I wonder if I can turn down that one light. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm going blind for y'all. Okay. I have decided something today. I met up with a friend of mine today, and we've known each other for multiple years, and both in the creator space. He's an OG, been at it way longer than I have. And we decided something that I'll just tell you because there's only like 5 of us here, right? So there's only 2 of us here. It says there's 3. There's 3 people. So Pixel P and Marcus, because you guys are my friends, and here you go. We're going to do a local creator day, education day. Yes, I said what I said. So way back in the day, I had participated in and helped do Seattle YouTube Day. That stemmed from Seattle YouTube Meetup. And now I think it's been since before the pandemic and everything. It was before. It was like 2019, maybe 2018. I don't even know at this point. 2019 when we did this event, and we haven't had anything since then. And I have been itching for something like that in the Pacific Northwest. And I think sometimes you're going to have to be the one to make it happen. And so he's looking for a project. I'm looking for a project. And so I think we're going to do that. But you know what's really funny? There is no good day to have a conference. I'll just tell you that, right? Because you're always dealing with what else is going on in the city. Are there sports games? Are there sports ball? Are there things going on? Is it, like you can't get too close into summer because people may be gone. Maybe the weather's nice and people call in sunny, from work or whatever. You probably have to have it on a weekend, but a lot of people are out of town, or you don't want to get too close to graduation time, or you don't want to do anything in the fourth quarter because all of a sudden then, people are definitely not thinking about that kind of stuff. And so it becomes this fun, like cat and mouse game of like, well, there's no good time, but like if we did it, when would be the least inconvenient time for people? So we picked a date. And so once we did it, we were like, well, that means either it's 1 year and 5 months from now, or it's in 5 months. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. So looks like I might be planning this event for 5 months from now. So, and if you're interested in coming along behind the scenes, you want more info about all of that, what it takes to put an event on, or, that kind of information, like who might be there and all that kinds of stuff, let me know, because that could definitely be a chat as well. But so we had coffee this afternoon, and so we decided today this is going to happen 5 months from now. So that was one thing that I definitely was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but sometimes you got to say yes, right? Sometimes, and I have some examples that I had wanted to share with y'all about this, and of just different times in my life when I had been scared, but I still said yes to some things, and like what came of it. And not only that, but I want to hear about your experiences in the same type of realm, because most of the time when you're being asked to do something that is outside of your comfort zone and you feel like, ooh, I don't know, or maybe you feel some of that imposter syndrome and you're like, who am I to do this? It is when you end up learning and growing and stretching and really kind of earning your stripes in certain ways, right? So Pixel P, I was just saying that I met with a friend over coffee today, and we decided that we were going to create a 1-day creator education day in Seattle for Pacific Northwest video creators, and we're going to do it in 5 months. So we have a lot of things to get under our belt, including trying to secure some sponsors, trying to secure some speakers, trying to figure out a venue, trying to all the logistics of putting on an event. And not only that, but a 1-day event that you're funding yourself. So I have a little bit of experience, not a lot, because when we did Seattle YouTube Day, I was the one actually who went out and found a lot of our sponsors, and I worked with them and tried to figure out, and it was all learning as you go, like flying from and flying blind and trying to pretend like you knew what was going on. And so here are a few different examples though, right? So one was, if we think back not that long ago, is when I created content minis, okay? So that all stemmed from when I went to PodFest. People were asking, when I talked in one of the, roundtables, in the discussion, the panels about how people need to be repurposing their content. And they were like, will you do this for me? And I was like, no, we don't do that. And then I was like, well, maybe I should. And, and then remember, you guys were with me when I was trying to figure out the content minis process. What does that look like? How do we onboard people? How do they pay me? How do they even understand how to know what to expect with our services? And then it was, after it was just me, it's like, how do I hire someone? How do I train them on some of the things that I'd like them to be able to do? And all of that. So, every single time where I've been in that uncomfortable position where I've had to learn and grow and stretch, I come out the other side knowing more and definitely having more life experience and having another perspective, because like I said, sometimes we have these ideas of what things will be like, whether that's being a creator, whether that's owning a business, whether that's what we would do theoretically with sponsorships or anything like that. And it becomes very theory based, but it's not very evidentiary based or experiential. And so having to go through some of these things means actually having a frame of reference to come back and talk to other people about said view. And I think that's really, really important, because otherwise, if it's all theoretical, it's not sometimes very helpful, right? Because once you have to put it in practice, what does that actually look like? What does the reality of that look like? And so that's why I always tell you, like, I like to try all the things and see all the things and taste all the things and do all the things and come back to you and be like, wow, if you were going to do this, you should look out for X, Y, and Z, right? And I don't mind sometimes, because sometimes you got to learn and take your lumps. But it's one thing that I learned when I went through coding school is that you have to become very, very comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's hard for a lot of people, because a lot of people, right, we've talked about this before, where they stay within their zone of, genius, and not get into the zone of excellence or whatever that was, that whole live stream that we did. People stay in things that are very familiar to them, whether that's relationships or jobs or, any kind of situation, friendships, because it is like, you like knowing. And when you then come across something where you're like, I don't know what's on the other side of that, and I don't think I want to put myself through all of that, you end up holding back a lot of things, but you end up not learning and growing or, experiencing these things. And a lot of things good can happen when you end up saying yes to things. So another example of that is when I decided to say yes to being an MC at Vid Summit, right? Obviously, I had spoken at Vid Summit before. I had never done like that big of a job of being an MC at a huge event like that. Honestly, my MC event was Seattle YouTube Day, 150 people, right? So this is being an MC on a track, but a conference of, 1,500 people. It's like exponentially bigger than anything I've witnessed before. Not only that, but the people that I'm interacting with, these are not just local people that I like corralled and strong-armed into being there because they're my buddies. These are people who, get paid to talk on big stages or have YouTube channels with millions of subscribers. And here I am being like, telling them how it's going to work for the next 45 minutes, or like having them like rely on me to walk them through whatever this process looks like. And so completely different lens, scared shitless and out of my mind, but still trying to be like, oh, I totally got this. No, I got this. And that actually still, it opens up doors, because you make these relationships, you have these introductions, you have more visibility. Sometimes credibility is because of this. Like, I've been to this event, or I've talked to, at this event, or I spoke with these people. And then people are like, okay, well, that's something. Another example of this is going to be when the first time I decided to start charging for not only like a one-on-one consultation, but like a one-on-one coaching program. So now you guys know I have a 12-week, 90-day coaching program. And this is something interesting, because I had actually gone through an entire course, my own 90-day program, about how to sell your own high-ticket value type of program. And a lot of what I learned in that course was definitely not applicable to me. And actually it left me feeling quite jaded about not only the coaching industry in general, but the way that people monetize the coaching industry. But that's a story for another stream. And I really got a lot of imposter syndrome because of comparisonitis, as it happens, right? A lot of the time I'm like, who am I to be charging, let's say, this much money? And, then it was like, oh, I should just charge less. And then there's this weird thing that happens when you charge less money. Sometimes think of you as not as serious, if that makes sense, So I guess it is kind of true, because if you charge too little, then some people may not really value it. And if you charge too much, then you definitely have the people who are like, well, I don't know about that. I do believe, though, you should raise your prices if you are at a point in juncture in your life where you are overrun with the amount of people that you do have, because obviously you're doing something that works, right? But anyways, that's, like I said, that's a whole other thing. So Pixelpia says, the biggest thing I did when I was scared was moving from the USA from Sweden. Yes, absolutely. So moving to a new place, especially if you don't have a lot of, family, friends, significant other with you in that place that you might be moving, completely scary. And I'm sure definitely literally leaving your comfort zone like into a new country, new language, new customs, new everything. That would absolutely be kind of scary. So, and of course, uploading my very first YouTube video at the age of 60 was scary. It's hard to believe now. Yeah. So again, saying yes to things even that scare you, such as like creating a YouTube channel. So I was actually, so when I was saying that it was difficult to even start thinking, oh, I should be charging money for services or charging money for helping people, which is contradictory to sometimes me, where I was just like always giving out advice anyway, and I wasn't necessarily expecting to be compensated. But then I was like, after a while, I did get a little resentful of like, man, how come this person makes all this much money and like they're doing the same thing as me? Probably because they're charging money, and then that's probably part of it. But also me feeling like I probably wasn't good enough to be charging people money, right? So the very first time when someone booked, and then not being in that position where I was like, oh, but for you it's free. But for you half price. And that's the thing is I've had that experience in my life too, even for something like video editing, something that I'm like, oh, I'm okay. I'm decent at. I'm not fantastic. I'm not doing crazy things. I'm not doing After Effects animations. But when I see what some people are kind of like doing at the very beginning of editing, which I did learn when people started taking my course, is miles and miles above some people, but, miles and miles behind other people, because that's how some people make their living or have been doing it longer or all those types of things. But here I am comparing and being like, who am I to charge money for this? When really it was about like, they were fine paying because they didn't want to deal with it. And yeah, they could learn how to, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to spend their time doing that. They wanted to spend their time doing other things. And so it came after a while where it's a realization that people are paying for the convenience of having their time back or not having to learn that skill or whatever it is. And they're just leveraging your expertise and skill in doing it. And so it's a real mindset shift when you have to start thinking about like going from doing this thing for free to charging money. So even when it's something like Amazon videos, before it was, yeah, let me take this product maybe and I'll do a review on it. And then it became like, these sellers are asking for too much. They're doing too much with too little. You know what I mean? It's like a $5 product and now they want all these things. And then being able to be like, no, this is the base price. And they're like, well, that's too expensive. And I'm like, well, I'm not negotiating that. The rate's only going up, or whatever else it is, and standing your ground. And then being like, well, we can get someone to do it for free. Go then. And then being okay with that. Because here's the thing is my life wasn't any different from before that conversation and me not having that product than it was after. And now, especially that I have less space, I have to be more mindful of even the things that I bring in. So sometimes now I'll make a video and I'll end up like giving that thing away just because I can't have it in my house. I need it long enough to make the video on it, to be able to talk about it, describe it, and show it to you. And then it goes out of my house and it goes to someone else because I just can't hold on to it. And that's kind of the truth, honestly. And that has happened recently on some different things. So I have some videos that I need to put up of items that are already gone. Because I've already filmed it and I don't need to hoard and hold on to those things to pass that 60-second video. You know what I mean? But even saying yes to something like that, right? Because when you're saying yes to specific things or saying no to specific things, you're making time in your life for those things. And so it's important to remember that if I'm saying no to all of these things, I'm having more space in my life to say yes to the things that really excite me and the things that I want to do. So more things that like kind of scare you or kind of, when you're just not sure, like even trying out for a dance team at my age and in my 40s, let's just say, for a dance team. And, I'm not a young spring chicken, but I have to dance like one. And, being like, oh, I'm too old for this or, and then going through it. It's a scary experience, but then I wouldn't come out the other side of it having made some friends, having the chance to mentor other people or get to perform on some of the places that we have, all because I said yes to trying out, to being there, to showing up. You know what I mean? And so I would encourage you. I'd love to know, what is something in your life that kind of scares you, but you're not sure if you should say yes, but you want to say yes, but you don't think you're ready. A lot of it always comes down to the imposter syndrome, right? We're like, I don't want to say yes because I don't think my videos are worth the $50 or $65 that I'm asking this company to pay me. Or I don't want to say yes to charging people money for a consultation with me because it's something that I've always given away for free. And who am I to do this, right? And then what's so funny is I was looking online, some of your colleagues, as you do, and you'll be like, oh, this person charges X amount for a consultation. I think my advice is probably just as good as theirs. I think I have, just as much experience as them. Why is their rate double mine? Why is that? Is it because they believe in themselves, or is it because I don't believe in myself? Or both? Sounded like for a second that I had a puppy in here snoring. Do you guys ever get random phantom sounds where you're like, you swear something's happening? But it's not. You're like, so my light in my bathroom buzzes. I don't know why. It just was installed incorrectly. So you like touch it, hold it, turn it, it stops buzzing. But then after a little while, it will start buzzing again. And so like, I'll just be like, do you hear the light buzzing? And it won't be. And then it will be. And then it's like, but now I hear it all the time. I can't unhear it. It's always going on. But, so let's talk about this. When you say saying no can also be scary, tell me more about that. And I want to talk about that for just a second too, because sometimes when you're saying no to things, you are making room in your life for other things to say yes. And so I did hear a story once about, someone who was like, I'm only saying yes to the things that make me say hell yes. Everything else is a no for me, right? Or we had that story about the guy that wanted the conference speaker for this, the CEO guy, and the secretary is like, nope, it's not on his list of priorities. I am the first and last line of defense. And if it's not on his 3 list of things that he said he wanted to accomplish this year, I will say no. You won't even get past me. It's a no. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no. And, when you say no to things, sometimes the fear is, oh, they'll never ask me again, or, oh, I'll not get another opportunity, or, oh, I should do it and say yes because I might not come off as agreeable, or I could become difficult. I could get that reputation. But sometimes when we say no, like I said, we are making room in our lives to say yes to other things. Because if we don't say no to all of these crappy like video requests that they want for this $5 knockoff product that won't be on sale next week because it's all drop shipped from the same place and 15 other, sellers all have the same thing. If we don't say no to them, then we skip getting the really good product from, some reputable company that has a really cool product that's going to sell well, because you're wasting your time dicking around with all of these people that aren't going to like help you achieve what you want. Yeah, you're making a video for a free, free product for $5, but also then a lot of the time those companies end up stealing your video, or it's a whole thing. But when you are saying no, I think it also can be not only scary, but also a good thing, because I had heard some rumors about how now some of these companies have spreadsheets on all of the influencers they've worked with. When did they say no? What was their rate? Blah, 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 all this different stuff. So not only are they tracking us, but now we should be tracking them, because they'll know. They'll go to someone else and be like, well, this person did it for $25. So, but I think it's kind of funny. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. I know someone who says that too. I have an insulate container that hisses, there's hot coffee there. Yeah. So when you've been the one doing things for other people for a long time and you don't have time and you need to say no for, the first time, especially if it's in family. Oh, yes. When you become the person who always is the driver, or the person who picks up the check, or it's hard because you can start to feel resentful because you feel like taken advantage of, not appreciated, all of these types of things where it's like people just expected that I was always going to be the one to pick up the check. No, I don't like that. And, or, that we're going to split the check evenly when I didn't have alcoholic drinks and I didn't have an appetizer and I ordered a cup of soup, which always reminds me of the episode of Friends where Monica has gotten a promotion. And so they all decide to go out to dinner, but Phoebe, Joey, and Rachel, they don't have very much money and they go to this very fancy restaurant. So like one person's just eating breadsticks, one person eats a side salad, one has like a cup of like mushroom soup, something like that. One asks if they get the appetizer pizza without as many toppings, if it might cost less, right? So they're all very like cost conscious. And then you've got Ross and Monica and everyone being like, oh, I'll have this appetizer and I'll have this for dessert and I'll have this as the main entree. And, you know, and when the bill comes, they're like, okay, so everybody owes X amount, you know, is amount split evenly. And, you know, Phoebe and Rachel are like, wait, everybody? And then Ross is like, oh no, you're right, Monica shouldn't pay, it's her big day, so everyone owes now even more. And it's finally Phoebe who's like, no, this is not going to happen. Like, I had this tiny little pizza, you had this tiny little cup of soup, this sad little salad. We're not going to pay for all that. And so then it becomes uncomfortable at dinner because then everyone's like, okay, we can just pay for what we ordered. And then a further complication is, okay, well, I just don't think you guys understand. Sometimes we don't make as much money as you guys. And you guys always want to go someplace nice. It's always some big event. And it's always making us now resentful that we can't do these things or we can't say these things or, you know, we're not good friends because we can't go to the Hootie and the Blowfish concert or something. And then the other guys are like, yeah, we can talk about this. Yeah, totally. Because if it's one thing, if there is a major thing that makes people feel uncomfortable is talking about money, especially about friends. You know, how much money do you make? How much money are you willing to put into some things? Because even sometimes when you make a lot of money, you're not always willing to spend it on certain types of things, and that's totally your business. But it becomes a very uncomfortable kind of like dinner/conversation. They have a little row about it. And it kind of makes me remember that when you are the person who's always expected, like, oh, you're going to be the one to pick up the check, or, oh, you're going to be the one to do this and the laundry and all those helpful services. And you're like, okay, but I feel tired. I'm run down. I'm underappreciated. And no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to split the bill this way. I want everyone to pay their fair share. And that can be really jarring for people who've come to expect a certain type of behavior, or perhaps knew or subconsciously don't know that they're taking advantage of you in this situation. And then when confronted with it, sometimes their little amygdala and their anger reflex, the first thing is to lash out and be upset about it, instead of kind of coming from this place of understanding. You're like, oh, maybe all of these other times, you know, like, I'm always the one that hosts dinner. You guys come over, you guys want expensive things for dinner, but you guys don't offer to pay for any of the dinner stuff. None of you guys invite us over to your house to have dinner to host the next one. It's not rotating. It's always on me to not only come up with the menu, but to, you know, send out the invite and then host you all. And you guys come over here and drink all of this. And so I have to prep the house with all of this stuff. And it's not like you guys pay me back. You guys don't chip in, and you guys don't, you know, so that I saw that on a column, like one of those Ask Amy type things. And I'm like, are these really your friends? If, you know, they're friends because you invite them over to your house once a month and you feed them really well and give them lots of alcohol, well, sure, you could probably make it through a dinner or something for someone who does that for you. But if their first initial reaction when you confront them with like, hey, I think it's your turn to host or something, is like anger, that's a whole other issue, right? Because that's maybe not your friend in the first place. So, and it can be hard to walk back expectation or years of said type of behavior into finally drawing a line, you know, like a line in the sand that would be miles past where that initial line would have been, especially when people don't like lines drawn in any kind of surface, sand or cement. So let's take a look here. Is this a lesson in upfront discussions to set expectations? Maybe. Maybe it is. I had dinner tonight with a friend whose income is 5 times mine, and we split everything equally, except he buys me a meal on my birthday. I know he's frugal and cheap, though. Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes you end up altering your life, right? Like, I'm not going to invite those people to dinner anymore. I'm not going to go hang out with this group of people who always thinks I'm the one to front the bill. I saw this awful TikTok the other day where a girl was upset with her boyfriend because she had invited like 20 people to this birthday party, and the guy was trying to pay for his dinner and the girl's dinner. And the girl was mad at him that he wasn't paying for everybody's dinner, like these extra 20 people that she invited. And he's like, I don't even know these people. Most of, like, I don't know who these are. Like, I can pay for me and you because it's your birthday, but like, and she was like yelling at him, and everyone else is like, I thought it was like so disrespectful of the friends to be like, oh, you're so cheap. Oh, look at you. You're not going to pay for this. Like, this is supposed to be a birthday party. It's like, no, we were having dinner. You know, I thought it was dinner. you know? So, yeah, that is one of those where you're going to have some sort of confrontation about expectation versus reality, or expectation and then resentment that bubbles up from that unmet expectation, or just like feeling taken advantage of. So, oh, and the people don't like it when you set and keep a new boundary. No, they sure do not. Just like you see all of those different stories about like, sometimes you see it a lot with mother-in-law and like daughter-in-law when they either get married or especially like when they have a child. No, you can't just come over. I know your grandma, but you have to like not make an appointment, but like announce yourself. You have to call. You can't just show up. Different things like that. No, you can't just come live with us for 6 weeks without asking. No, you can't, those types of things where they end up going sour real quick. That no can be the only way to say yes to something new. That is absolutely correct. Absolutely. And so I would love to know, so Pixelpia shared, what are some things that initially may have scared you that you said yes to that came out to be a good reason, came out to be a good thing, turned out to be maybe even a blessing in disguise? Maybe it was, I said yes to a blind date and it turned out I married them or something like that. Or I said yes to showing up for this thing and it turned into my business, right? I said yes to showing up on video and it turned out that I created a YouTube channel. I said yes to going to this conference and then 3 years later I was speaking at that conference. Or I said yes to, whatever it is. I would love to hear what you got to share. Because a lot of the time for me, when I say that everything is figure outable, thank you, Marie Forleo, but, it's always the trying to figure out, how do I get into the Amazon program? How do I make these videos? And then how do I start charging money for them? Or how do I, figure out how to do this coaching thing if I want to do that? Or how do I set up my business? Or how do I set up a business banking account? All these things where you're just like, I don't know, man. And you figure it out and you keep going and you keep doing these things, even if you're kind of scared. And so even tonight, after we came home, and I was like, yeah, we picked a date and we're going to leverage our network and our resources and see. So I sent out a couple of quick text messages and I said, hey, thinking of doing a 1-day creator event in Seattle. Would you possibly be interested in speaking at? Would you possibly be interested in hearing about being a sponsor? Would that be interesting to you? And you know what? A couple of them already are like, give me details, maybe. And I'm like, well, I just decided 2 hours ago, so details are forthcoming. But, it reminded me of when we were planning Seattle YouTube Day. I was like, we need sponsors. We need money for things. We need to be able to pay for stuff, whether it's the hot dog vendor who had a minimum that we had to meet. It was the ASL translators that we needed because someone on the panel was hard of hearing. It was, paying for things. And I was like, no, we need money, y'all. So, and then it was like, well, has anyone ever asked brands for sponsorship money for a conference like this before? I'm like, no, but I guess we're going to figure it out, right? Like, and it is scary to be like, hey, brand, will you give me money for this thing that we've never really done before, but it could be good? And, and most of the brands that I worked with and asked, they actually all said yes. I don't know if y'all remember that at the time or if we were talking about it then, but I asked like 3 companies and all 3 said yes. So that's a 100% record for me. So, and this time I was kind of like, maybe, again, that happens. Maybe I reach out to some people and maybe they say yes. And maybe that will allow us to have the money, because I'm hoping if we have enough sponsors, I would love to be able to pay the speakers or at least put some money towards their hotel room or maybe their flight. Right now we can't do that because we're paying for it all ourselves. But if maybe we sell tickets and we're going to ask people for money and be like, hey, please buy tickets to this 1-day thing. And that money will be used not for us, but for the speakers, accommodations, and for things at the conference. But I have to be able to have the courage to go ask people like, hey, will you give me money for this thing that's right now just an idea in my head, but I swear is going to turn into something? It's a little scary and terrifying, but like we're doing it anyway. We're going to figure it out. But it is nerve-wracking, and it is something, where I was like, do I want to jump into this again? Do I want to plan an event? Do I want to put myself through all of that for all of this work for what may or may not be like a big event success. Who knows? And I'm like, I have no idea what's going to happen when we try and do an event again. Last time we did something like this was 4 years ago. It was kind of okay attended, but this time could be completely different. But maybe it could be better. I don't know. But I was like, no, we need something to do. We need something local, and we need better creative education and resources. So why not us? Why can't we do that? Why can't we, talk to the people that we know and give it a shot? And so, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. That's what we're going to do. And we said yes to it. And it's definitely scary. And it's even scarier when I gave it a timeline that is like less than 5 months from now. Like it's like, girl, what are you doing? But now, I'm leveraging my resources. I have a friend in event planning. I'm like, where would you go in Seattle that might give it to us for cheap or for free? Or like, I don't know. These are a couple of ideas that I have. Help me out with some more, because you plan stuff all the time. But that's what I'm saying is sometimes we can figure it out if we try. So it's scary. We're doing it. Yeah, that's it. We're scary. We're scary, but I'm scared. But I'm saying yes, and we're going to do it. So Chantel says, I said yes to being a guest on a live stream, and now I have more creator friends and a connection for more work. I love that. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. Good for you. This tea is so good. Spice Market, the Pike Place Market tea. It's the original cinnamon orange. Oh, also I have to share something with you. Y'all remember when I was like, what's the deal with the Stanley Cups, y'all? What's the deal with the Stanley Cups? I got one. I'm going to find out what the deal is. I will report back, but I got this one. It's like this blue gradient. I thought it was nice. We'll see how it goes. Did you guys know that there's an entire now network of people who were not only reselling them, but doing like knockoffs and everything? Because there are now videos that are being served to me in my feed, like how to spot a real Stanley from a fake Stanley, all the way down to like what kind of screw they use here at the base of the handle. Like it's a star, like Allen wrench screw, versus like if you see a Phillips head one, then you know it's like a fake. And I was like, crazy. There's a whole lore around this. I watched an entire video, like 20 minutes long, 10 minutes on double speed, and it was all about the history of it. And the history is weird because it's a company that's so old. It's like 1913, and they cut their teeth on basically making thermoses for construction workers. So many years into having the design for this mug, basically, or this, they call them quenchers. There was a mommy blog that saw them and loved them and started recommending them. And so they start selling. And then they're like, we need these in nice colors. We need these in girl colors. We need these in friendly colors. And then they get to go to the Stanley headquarters, and they help influence or the color selection. They start making these like pretty pink ones and different stuff like that. People go nuts. They're like selling out. And then in a few years, they end up outselling the normal thermos. And like people are like, this is crazy. And it went from, a few million to this year. I think last year they said they had cleared like $750 million from a company that was doing like $10 million. Like it has been nuts. And a lot of this is traced back to these women in these like mommy bloggers about all these different fun. They're like, yeah, once we started making them in like pink and like polka dots, or having like special prints that were limited edition, like things went bananas, and it's become a whole culture. And I'm like, yeah, it really has. And then they were like, and we started doing some collabs with like Starbucks, and we did it with a few others, and they would sell out instantly. And we're like, we're really onto something. And we're like, yeah, you came up with that all by yourself, did you? No. It's a whole thing, though. It's a whole thing. And then surprisingly, I got a message from someone who worked at a company that was a sponsor at that Seattle YouTube day and has subsequently moved on. He's like, oh, that's so funny. I actually work there now. And I was like, well, there you go. There you go. It's a small world after all. Okay. All right. So what do y'all want to chat about? I know it is such a Stanley, like it's a whole culture. And apparently there's also a culture war behind Stanley Squad and the Yeti crew. Okay. So these are like, people got opinions, man, on these two different types of cups. And let's not forget the Hydro Flask people. Remember that? Yeah. So the Hydro Flask people, the Stanley people, and the Yeti people, they have their own little class war going on. Not class war, but you know what I mean. My cup's the best, all that kind of stuff. It's interesting stuff. Some people are like, the 40 ounce quencher is too big, but the 32 ounce, I think it is, from Yeti is the perfect medium size, because otherwise the 30 ounce is too small. And like, y'all, it goes deep, and they're like, and the straw is better, and you don't have to take the straw out for like hot drinks. And so there are like online forums, I'm sure, but like people arguing about why one is better than the other. I find it fascinating. Your team Yeti? Okay, good to know. Why? Have you tried like the others, the Hydro Flask and do you remember when the beaker bottles were also very big? The BKR bottles, the glass ones wrapped in usually silicone of some kind. I had one of those for a while. I did not enjoy how narrow the lid was and trying to clean them. But do you remember they were all the rage too? They didn't keep your drink cold though. But I did have one that the top had the lip gloss you could put on. So, but yeah, they don't seem to be as big anymore, as popular. But I would love to know why Team Yeti versus Hydro Flask versus Stanley, or if you tried all three, or you just love that one and you're sticking with it. So, and then my other friend Zach, he put on Twitter. I'll still call it always Twitter. He was like, this is like crazy. This is the only Stanley Cup that I know of. And it was like the hockey Stanley Cup. He had a picture with it. I thought that was funny. So I don't care about brand, but just the size. Yeah. Yeah. I will say though, because I have a big water bottle from, I think it's Fine Dining. I got it off Amazon. It's actually like a good product. The problem with it is that it doesn't fit in the cup holder. So it is nice to have one that will fit in the cup holder. I will say that. So the base being small, and then like, I guess the handle's nice. So, I mean, there's a nice thing about that. So it was just the first one I got and I love it. And I have a 12 ounce cup. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And the size thing really is kind of important, because I had the Ember mug. I don't know if y'all remember, I had one that was in copper. It was like this copper color. It was 10 ounce and it was just never large enough for the beverages that I had, whether it was tea or coffee or whatever. And so I was like, I know this sounds so silly, but like I need a larger mug. And so I think this one is like the 14 ounce. And I wish they had like an even bigger one. I wish they made like a 20 ounce one, because I would totally do that. But it seems so silly. But I went out and I got another one because I needed 4 more ounces. But not only that, I found one like used on Face Marketplace, so it was like super cheap. But small base, large in content. Yeah, exactly. It is important to have the ability to fit in a cup holder. It really is. I didn't understand that until I had that one water bottle, and I'm like, it just flops around all over the place, and I want to be able to drink it, but now it's rolling around on the floor, and like, yeah. So I'm there with you. I get it. I get it now. I get it. Okay. So that's really all I wanted to cover with y'all, is like, maybe we're going to have to start saying yes to some of the things that scare us, because we're not going to be able to sit back anymore. Times are changing, and we're going to learn and grow and all that kind of stuff. And, yeah, maybe this is the year we do the things that scare us. Maybe that's one of your resolutions. Mine, remember, is pursuit is my word of the year. And that is trying and, growing and, like being on that journey. And I think y'all know I'm always trying new things. And so it's that pursuit of knowledge, pursuit of money, pursuit of experience, all the things. And so I just feel like not just me, but you too. And I would want to encourage you to say yes to some things, even now, that seem bigger than you, that seem outside of your realm of possibility, that seem, just scary and gargantuan to think about accomplishing and just taking that next logical step forward and trying to do it anyway. And, remembering if it's not a hell yes, then maybe it's a no, because maybe you have that guiding North Star principle of the thing that you would really want to achieve this year. And if you're in the pursuit of that, like I am, then, eliminating the things that aren't that, pursuit is absolutely that. The only other thing I was going to share with you all is just a little personal aside. Most of you probably don't care about this, but yesterday was the Samsung Unpacked event. Now, if y'all know me, you know that my favorite color is purple, right? Well, you should, because it's everywhere, and I love purple. It's like purple phone case, purple everything. And you know how much it killed me not to get the purple iPhone, right? Samsung heard my woes, and they are going to make it all better because they're releasing a purple titanium Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. And I saw it, and my little heart went, you will be mine. You will be mine. You will be mine. And lo and behold, today, she became mine. I ordered her. Now, the only thing is if she'll get here before I have to leave for a vacation. But if it's some little boxes for me, and I know I'm like, oh, don't go out in there and get all the gear and blah, blah, blah. Hear me out. So I have another iPhone, and I'm going to sell it because it's the only thing left in my arsenal that is Lightning and not USB-C. And this may sound so stupid, but I just like having one cable to charge everything, whether it's my headphones, whether it's the phone, whether it's my laptop, whether it's my iPad. I want one type of cable. And now everything in my life, except for my old iPhone, is USB-C. And when I saw this, and I'm like, I'm going to be able to get the purple Samsung Galaxy, and that's only replacing the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, which is also USB-C. That's not the point. The point is I am moving towards well, and all purple everything. What I want, okay? I'm moving towards what I want. That's what I'm going to say. And when the time comes, I will be selling that iPhone and then, putting the money. So really the upgrade won't cost me too much money. So yeah, I'll trade in my old Samsung phone. I get the new one in purple. I will sell my old iPhone. I will be rid of all of the things that are Lightning. I will get rid of a lot of the cables that are Lightning. You'll be so proud of me, y'all, when I do the office tour. One thing that I did do is I started grouping all of my cables. Before I was doing them in Ziploc baggies, all the USB-C ones, all the micro USB, all the Lightning ones. I have graduated them out of Ziploc baggies and into at least like little drawer things. And I'm going to try my best to keep all my cables and everything organized. We'll see how that goes. But it will be so great to be able to remove like an entire section of Lightning cables and just have USB-C. One other thing that came out this week, and I was this close to looking at and buying, and then I was like, girl, you're so stupid. Why? Just why? Okay, so raise your hand if you saw the new DJI Mic 2 release this week. And what's so funny is I remember last year when 2 years ago when the DJI mic came out, the one with the kit with the two transmitters, the one receiver, and it was like $350, and I was like, so expensive. And I was like, oh damn, am I really gonna do this? And I ended up doing it. I don't use it that often. That's a whole other thing. And then I saw recently that the price had gone down to $250, and I'm like, wow, that's such a good deal. I wonder, there must be a new version coming. Sure as shit, there's a new version. It just got released this week, and it's the upgraded version. And some of the things that I did not like about the first version, they did actually fix. Instead of like having only a touch menu, they've got a little scrolly wheel. They now have a 32-bit float, which means something to the people in audio, not to lay people like me. But they also have now the ability for the individual receivers to go Bluetooth directly to a smartphone, no adapter thing needed, unless you're running multiples. Or like two, which is very rare for me. So I was like, oh, sweet. I wouldn't have to use the receiver. You just use the one thing. And they have like this artificial intelligence thing built in for the noise cancellation, as well as one other thing. But I did look later in the fine print, and it says if you're using Bluetooth connection for your receiver, then the audio protection stuff, the AI stuff, it doesn't work. It turns off unless you're using it with a receiver. So then I'm in the same boat. I'd still have to use a receiver, but you get the AI noise cancellation. So I was like, And then I thought about ordering just a single receiver, because that can be hooked up, like I said, via Bluetooth. But then I read in the fine print about the no noise cancellation. I also read that the other thing, this is so stupid, but they have it in white. You know what I mean? And the other ones are black, which are fine. But the little white one was so cute, because especially if you're wearing like lighter colored clothes, it really just kind of like almost blended in, disappeared. And they actually changed the design of them a little bit more too. And so I was like kind of looking at this, and I was like, maybe if I just buy the one receiver. And then I actually ordered it for the $99 for the one receiver. And then after reading through the fine print about how the noise cancellation wouldn't work, I was like, I started thinking about it. And then I was like, well, would it be worth getting, unboxing, making a video and sending it back? And then I'm like, no, you're just creating waste, and it's not that important. And like, honestly, do you really need to do that? No. So what did I do? Like a good girl, I went to Amazon and I went cancel order, and it was done within enough time that they canceled my order. But I did think about it for a second. But then I was like, that's kind of gross when you like, I know people out there that do that, you know, they buy the stuff and they make the video and then they send it back, or they have no intention of keeping it. I understand returning it because something didn't work, or because you change your mind about something, but like you had the intention of keeping it. It's the people who buy it with the intention of returning it that are kind of like weird. You know what I mean? That are a little more weird to me. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just return it. And not only that, I was thinking like, maybe I should just order the new set. And then I was like, why? Not only do you not really use the set that you have that often, you've not been in so many situations where you've necessitated needing the noise cancellation and needing these other features that this one has. So until you outgrow your tech, you don't need to like buy this. And so I was a good girl and I didn't buy it, although I was thinking about it. And then I was like, but you did just buy a new phone. So I mean, like sometimes the willpower works and sometimes it doesn't. What can I say? The purple got me. It really did get me. You know what I mean? I saw that and I was like, oh God, you're so pretty. You're coming home with me. You're coming home with me. All right, so let's talk about this. I hate it when I have to say no to things when I really want to say yes, but money sometimes makes the decision. Yeah, because when you're saying yes, you're saying yes to giving up your time or giving up money, or money that you would be spending on other things, right? So Will Glow, you have a good question here, and it says, how many pairs of boots do you have and how much is the most expensive pair? Well, aren't you forward? I don't know. Let's think about this though. There are 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7. So and then the 4 rows. So is that right? Yeah. So 14 pairs of boots. Is that right? No. Yeah. Yeah. So 14 pairs over here. I got a couple pairs over here. And I got a couple over here. But some of them I have to have for my like dance team that I'm on. So we have to have a certain amount of boots and stuff for that. What are the most expensive pair? You know what? The most expensive pair is going to be the boot of the week. So let's think about this real quick and we'll look here. That's a good question. I think it's this one. I think it's this one. Okay. So everyone, meet your boot of the week. Have we had this one as the boot of the week yet? I don't know if we have had this one as the boot of the week yet. So this is our new boot of the week. This is the Old Gringo Nevada 15-inch shaft in a metallic lime green, special order only from bootjunkie.com. So bootjunkie.com, by the way, if you want to have some boots in your life, bootjunkie.com, as well as Old Gringo, as well as River Trail Mercantile, because all of them sell Old Gringo. So they're all running a boot sale right now for like 25% off those boots. You can do that. Each one of the sites has a code like RTM25 for River Trail Mercantile. Old Gringo, no code needed. They're already discounted. And then Boot Junkie, I think it's like save 25. It says on the website, I think, but they're all 25% off right now. So this specific guy, I'm pretty sure that has been a boot of the week because I remember telling you this story. But this particular boot, I had been dreaming of this boot when I saw it, and it was the only place that I saw it was on Boot Junkie, and then it went away, and I was so sad because I did not. No, there's another row up here too. So there's 4 rows of boots. You guys just can't see it. Let me see if I. See right over here. That's the start of the 4th row. So I had wanted these boots and I thought that I had missed my chance for them. And I was so sad. They have the short boots too. It's like an 8-inch, but this is the 15-inch. It's the one I wanted really bad. And these boots, I couldn't bring myself to pay the price, honestly. And then I was like, I'm literally paying the price in pain and misery now because I didn't get the boots when I could have. And then these purple metallic ones came along. And that helped ease the pain a little bit. And I ended up buying them at the same time. But these ones were special order because they had to order them from Old Gringo in Mexico and they had to be made. And they do them in batches, so they come out like months later. So like I had these boots for like a couple months before I got these boots, but they were ordered on the same day because these are available all the time. And these were the special order boots. Anyways, I digress. I wanted these boots so bad. I had screenshotted them. I had saved them to my camera roll. I could not stop thinking about that. And then I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and make these boots, which is how this boot came into fruition, right? You can tell, obviously, they're not even close to the same color, but this is actually a white boot that I painted this green. And then I was like, well, we can't just stop there. We're going to have to bejewel it. So I found some green jewels and then I bejeweled this one. Now, what I was going for, and I couldn't quite think about and remember at the time, is that these are a green that have like a gold undertone. And I mixed like neon green with silver. And so that's why I get this like much brighter, lighter one. And actually this is with like this neon glow in the dark paint, or like under UV light, it like glows in the dark. So if you see it under like black light or whatever, they actually like glow because I mixed them, but with a pearlescent silver. And now I think if I were to do it again, if I mix them with like a pearlescent gold, I would get closer to this. So you can see obviously they're not really close at all. And so I have 2 different shades of like this green, but this was as close as I got. And but obviously you can see this one is like sophisticated and I felt like a grown-up boot, right? So I made this boot. It was nice, and you know, like I still love this boot. It was a labor of love. And this was originally, like I said, it was a white boot. So considering where it came from, still impressive. Okay, still impressive. Then y'all, because I stalk that website, like I am there multiple times a week, just seeing like, did something go on sale? What's new? And this came back in the new section. And my little heart was just like, oh my God, it's back. She's back. She's coming back into my life maybe. And like, this is a sign. This is a sign. And then what was more of a sign, because I was thinking about it, the next day they ran like a 25% off sale. And at first I didn't think it was going to apply to special order boots because most of the time their sales don't. But I tried the code and it applied it to both this boot as well as the purple boot. Because like I said, I bought them at the same time. And I was like, it's meant to be. It's meant to be. It's what I wanted. Haven't been able to stop thinking about this boot for like over a year. And sometimes I get obsessive like that, which is what happened with my, remember those floral boots, which I think I'm selling. I think they're in my car right now. So they're not up on the wall. But same thing. I had been stalking that boot down for over a year as well. Cause I was like, I want to wear it in a parade. So this boot came back. And then the 25% off sale happened, and then I bought them. And I actually bought the purple ones too. Like I said, same day. So this was not only the most I've ever spent on a boot, but the most I've ever spent on one transaction for boots, because I bought, like I said, both at the same time. And they were, let me see if I can remember here. I'm going to find them. I'm going to find them. I mean, they were this price, but then with a discount. Okay, so let's just keep it real here. And if you're my husband, don't listen into this. Don't listen into this part. I don't think he wants to know how much I spend on boots. I'm sure he doesn't actually realize how much it is. So, okay, so those boots, well, and tax. So we're just gonna say those boots were on sale after everything for around $4.25. We'll just leave it at that. It was on sale. I saved a lot. So is there an aftermarket for used boots? You have no idea. Yes, absolutely there is. You can go to Poshmark. You can go to Mercari. You can go to eBay. You can go all kinds of places and see used boots. And sometimes the used boots are like, used boots can still end up being like hundreds of dollars. Especially if they're used boots in a particular style that was like limited edition or like special. If they have like these green boots where you can only get them at one spot, and let's say they stop selling them again, these would become so hard to find and very rare that yes, absolutely, you can make money reselling them. In fact, there was a time that I did get a pair of boots from River Trail Mercantile. I got them in a smaller size just to see how they would fit and everything because it was the last one left. I ended up getting them. They almost fit, and then I was like, maybe I should just sell them. I ended up making money on those boots, I think, or like paid at least the same that I got for them, just because I bought them on such a sale. But yeah, you can resell boots. Absolutely. There's a big market for reselling boots. And right now, like I said, Old Gringo is doing their semi-annual sale, but you can also go to ogsamplesale.net anytime and find things like 70% off. But even 70% off might still be like $300 and something. Some of the boots are like $1,200. I mean, we're not talking like low Casey, though. Like some of those boots are thousands of dollars. And there's a local, I say local, he's almost in Oregon, but local bootmaker, and their custom boots that they will make for you. You can go in and pick stuff and everything. Those are like $3,000. I mean, people get crazy about boots. It's called boot brain. Anyways, we've talked way more than I thought we would about boots, but if you want those specific boots, the only place you're going to find them, bootjunkie.com. They're currently on sale right now. I mean, they would be if you bought them right now because of the 25% sale that's happening right now. So you can go get those if you want them. You can be boot twins. And it's actually funny because a lot of the girls will end up buying the same boots because obviously some boots are going to be popular. Like if it's pink, there's a lot of pink boots in that room sometimes. And there's only so many manufacturers that make pink boots in certain styles. So once someone buys it, sometimes other people will be like, oh my God, I want those too. And where did you get them? Like, which ones are they? And so one of the reasons I ended up selling, because I had like this boot, like this green boot, but like in the 13-inch instead of 15-inch, I had it, I don't know if you remember, in the hot pink color. I ended up selling those boots because I didn't want to have the same boots that everyone else had. You know what I mean? Like, I know, like, I wanted it to be a little bit unique and special. So I ended up selling those boots to someone else, not even on the dance team, just in my life, personal friend. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't know boots came in like fun colors like this. And I'm like, oh, sweet summer child, I have so much to show you. I was like, I've got ones in denim color. I got so many fun colors. If you, I was like, I got so many fun boots. Yeah. So then I spent that money, if you recall, on these pink boots because nobody else had these boots except for now one other girl. I told her where I bought them, which was Boot Junkie. And I was like, I bought these boots. And she's like, I'm getting them too. And I'm like, fine, we'll be boot twins. That's fine. And so we're boot twins. And I think she's the only one right now I'm currently a boot twin with. But I'll tell you a story about the pink boots. They kicked my ass last week because we had a practice that was, so we had one practice that was for all of the people that have already been on a team. And then the next night was a practice for people who are new to the organization who are going to be trying out in the next couple of weeks. And so is, like the rookies. And so I went to the rookie night and I was helping to demonstrate a couple of things, but like I tore a huge ass blood blister on my brand new boots because they were the first time I was wearing them, but I was dancing pretty hard in them. And I've been hobbling around for like a week because of the blisters and stuff. And like, oh, it's painful. It's so painful. Like it's painful to wear tennis shoes, painful. So yeah, that's super fun, but not fun, if you know what I mean. But they're kicking my ass. I will break them in, but they really, really did a number on my feet. So yeah, and that's one thing. Sometimes you have to wear boots for a little while for them to like form accustomed to your feet. And depending on, and we've talked about it before, but sometimes different boot manufacturers, you have to get different sizes because they size like weird. So anyways, do I have any that are made out of animal skin? Well, I mean, most of them are leather. So, I mean, there's a cow. But no, there are some really cool ones in python that I like that are like this turquoise color. But I haven't picked those up yet. Those are all corral. I think everything else is pretty much leather up here. Some sort of leather. Yeah. Okay. So I got a jet, but So good to chat with all of you. Let me know about comments, questions, concerns that you have if you want to see a filming room tour, which you don't really have to answer. I'm going to film it anyway. But all the rest of the things, tell me about a time when you did something that scared you and what came of it. Leave it as a comment. Okay, so there's comments on the videos. And I hope you have a great night. Give this video a thumbs up on your way out, and I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.